When John Welch was banished from Scotland in 1606, he did not go alone. Beside him stood a woman whose spirit was as lion-hearted as any reformer in history, his wife, Elizabeth Knox, the daughter of the legendary John Knox. Elizabeth carried a legacy of defiance in her very veins. The transition was brutal. The family was forced into exile in France, where they had to navigate a new language, a different culture, the constant uncertainty of life as political refugees. Yet Elizabeth was a formidable partner, helping Welch establish a ministry amongst the Huguenots whilst raising their children in a foreign land. By 1662, the years of hardship and the damp air of his earlier imprisonment at Blackness Castle had taken their toll. Welch was dying. In a final desperate bid for his health, he was allowed to travel to London. Elizabeth knew that her husband's only hope for recovery was the bracing air of his native Scotland. She secured an audience with King James VI, by this stage King James I of England, the man who had signed her husband's banishment papers. It was a meeting of two immovable forces. James, academically arrogant and fearful of dissent, offered Elizabeth a compromise. He told her that Welch could return to Scotland on one condition: he must submit to the authority of the king's bishops. Elizabeth's response is one of the most famous anecdotes in Scottish history. She did not hesitate, nor did she plead for mercy at the cost of her husband's soul. Instead, she lifted the hem of her apron towards the king and replied, "Please, your majesty, I'd rather keep his head there." This was more than a dramatic gesture. It was a profound theological statement. Elizabeth was declaring that her husband's integrity and his loyalty to the sovereignty of Christ were more valuable than his life. She chose a widow's grief over a husband's compromise. John Welch died in London shortly after, never seeing the shores of Ayr again, but leaving behind a legacy of uncompromising conscience that would soon cross the Atlantic.